Hello everyone. It is Steinyamite here. How are we doing today? Hopefully
HQ here.
good.
Commence
So,
mission to recapture
this
Grapple
is
site.
a bunny video here today. We have a new season 1 update for Alt Bunny. This build is going to be a really fun one to show off. In the background here we just have some gameplay footage as we'll be going through everything for the build today. All the timestamps will be below. I do hope you all enjoy it. So, a few things to talk about here at the start as we are going through it. The goal of this build was to do as much damage output as possible while maintaining a nearly infinite sprint uptime and all of that, right? So as you can see, our 3 attack pretty much has 0 downtime from when it deactivates to reactivating, as well as our second attack, the sprint there, has a very slow drain on it. That's obviously really good. The other big thing, obviously, is damage. We want this to be good for mobbing, dungeons, bosses, really anything you want. And you can pretty much apply this to any scenario just by changing it, I would say, one mod if needed. So it's a really good all-around build. And we're going to get into that here shortly. The last big thing I want to show off here and just mention a little bit, as we'll be going over it more in depth later, is when you see the lightning damage, you will see it doing anywhere between, I would say, maybe 250,000 on a normal hit to just over 1,000,000 on a critical hit. So very fun build. Very excited to show it off with everyone here today. Enjoy the rest of the video. Alrighty, so here we have our build screen. I'm gonna go over a couple of things here, obviously, because there are a few important key features to make this build work, right? So we're going to be going over weapons, reactors, components, all of that will tie into the build. So first we're going to start off with our reactor here. I chose a Thunder Cage mount, and you can really use any weapon type you want. That is all personal preference. Now, the important parts are the skill power boost. Firstly, you want the electric skill power, and secondly, you want the singular skill power. Bunny's attacks are electric and singular. As you can see here, her 3 attack is a singular, and that is going to be the lightning strikes that keep you going endlessly and keep you running and give you the most damage possible, right? As for components, there's a few different sets you can use. I personally like the Supernova set. I use a full set of 4 because you get the extra electric damage of 100% of the skill power modifier. So really it's that extra lightning strike all the time. Now, if you don't like that, you can also use the Slayer set. The Slayer set I have found is another really good one. The Slayer set, at its 4 full set, the big one is you get a 26.1% skill power boost. That is always really useful, right? Now, on to Descendant modules. Next here we have our Descendant modules. This is the newest build. I am just dubbing it right now as a Bunny 2.0 build for Season 1, because now that we were allowed to switch our modules around, as you can see, there's been a lot of builds, a lot of testing going into this. So let's just kind of look over everything, right? Let everybody take that quick screenshot if needed. You never know. So the big one here is going to be Bunny's Transcendent mod, high voltage. This mod is the one that allows the lightning ring around her 3 attack here, the lightning emission, to go from just a ring around you to dedicated lightning strikes that are going to have more range and do more damage. So even though they can't hit quite as many adds, it is a much needed trade-off just to do as most damage as possible and have as much range as possible. Now, a few other things here that are going to be really key are going to be things like MP Collector. MP Collector is just every time Bunny gets a kill, she has a 17% chance to recover 12% of the max MP. Since the MP drains so slow, thanks to a few other parts of this build, really easy to just keep it up infinitely, even with no MP drops, just based on kills alone. A few other ones here that are going to be more standard, but still really useful, obviously. We're going to have increased HP and HP amplification. Both of these give her a very high HP total here of over 445% of her standard HP. So it's going to be really useful, especially during bossing, because during mobbing and dungeons, you can really stay alive just by killing things fast enough. During bossing, you're going to want those hard hitting attacks, right? The next ones here we have are Focus on Electric and Singular Specialist. Focus on Electric is going to boost up our electric skill power for Bunny and also improve our skill cooldown so that we can have a faster rotation of our third attack when it runs out. Singular Specialist, same thing. It stacks on the electric because her third attack here that we're going to be using all the time, the one that is triangle on console but 3 on PC, is going to again boost up that skill power by another 76%. So you can really just stack on some damage. The next one here, this one is, I use it more for bossing than anything, but honestly, in all of my testing, I found that I like this more than some of the other mods you can put here. So that is Dangerous Ambush. When you hit a skill attack, which is almost constantly for Bunny, while an enemy's not targeting you, you get almost 25% skill power boost. And if an enemy is immobilized, so like when a boss is down on their knees or something like that, you get almost a 50% power boost. Now, there is a trade you can make here, and that is going to be Decimator. Decimator is when defeated an enemy inflicted with debuffs, skill power modifier is plus 5% up to 10 stacks. So a total of 50%. The big thing is Bunny creates a debuff with electricity all the time just by shocking things. So really quickly on strong enemies, you can get up to 50% more skill power. Again, in testing, even though Decimator was better on paper, I personally found I like Dangerous Ambush more. So I've just been using it on the build ever since. Now, last couple things to go over here. Skill concentration, skill expansion. We want all the range we can get. We want our crit damage to be really high. That's what's allowing us to get over 1 million damage on crit shots from the lightning. Skill insight here as well. That's crit rate. We want to be trying to get as many of those crits as possible. We're going for those high million damage numbers. Lastly here is maximize conservation. The point of this again is 1, skill cost. Always nice when it costs less to use an attack. Skill power modifier, I know sounds like a bad downside because it's minus 20%, but in my testing, it equivalented to about 200k, right? So yes, it is always nice to do about 1.2 million, let's say, on a lightning strike from Bunny, but I found that this is a worthwhile trade-off just because you get minus 35% skill cost, and this is the mod specifically that allows us to run almost indefinitely, right? We get that super sprint nearly infinitely, especially if we're getting kills and regenning MP, not just from this mod, but from anything that might drop on the ground. Lastly, is the midair maneuvering. I find this to be really important. I know some people like long distance more. I find midair, especially for Bunny, can be really, really useful just for the fact that you'll see in gameplay footage, when we use the grappling hook, we can basically spin around in a circle, and that allows us to use Bunny's lightning attack faster because for anyone who doesn't know, this lightning emission attack, it charges up the attack based on the speed that you are moving. So if you're just normal sprinting versus the speed of light sprint versus a grapple hook, you'll actually see the lightning strikes go out faster and faster. So the goal is, especially with a lot of ads, always be swinging around. You don't have to use sprint NP, and you can get even faster lightning strikes then. Alrighty, so back here in the laboratory, figured we'd do some actual testing to show everybody some numbers, try to show you some more real world representation in the game, right, of how this build's gonna work. So on our Bunny 2.0 build here, we're gonna start off just by hitting the super sprint. As you notice, again, it's gonna last quite a long time here, much longer than the original build, and we will show that off here at the end. Now, if we turn on our 3 attack for the lightning, we're seeing damage numbers for the crits as low as about 251,000. And on the high end, we're seeing just over 1.2 million, right? So 1.2 million is going to pretty much one-shot almost any ad in the game, other than maybe a boss or a yellow bar, right? But you are getting such a long amount of time for sprint. And in addition to the sprint, as we discussed in the build, midair maneuvering is going to allow you to move even faster, therefore getting more lightning shocks off. The best way I can say to use midair maneuvering, whether it's for bosses, mobbing, whatever you use, I always try to go more of like an upward diagonal angle, right? As you see, we're trying to get more of a spiral pattern out of it. The spiral will just allow you to stay in the air, maintain a lot of speed, and that's what we're after, right? We want to do as most damage as fast as possible. So that is the 2.0 build here. Let's do one last test here as a direct comparison, right? So we're going to start by just sprinting. keep an eye here specifically on how slow our MP bar is draining, or how quickly, right? And compared to the original 1.0 build that we're going to show. So again, this is just with our 2.0 build. The bar lasts quite a long time. You do get a lot of run. Now we are going to flip it back to our 1.0 build here. All right, on our Bunny 1.0 build here, let's do a quick look over the modules for anyone that wants to see it. This build, again, not bad at all. I would say nowadays, even though it's maxed out, you know, since it can be even better, this would be more of a beginning of the end type option, right? More of like a middle ground between just a budget and the highest possible demonstration that you could have on Bunny. The big difference here is going to be something like maximize range over the energy conservation type mods, where here we have a little bit more range on that lightning attack, but we do have a lot less range, or not range, I'm sorry, we have a lot less time on our MP bar. So let's take a direct look here now, just at the sprint. And as you're going to be able to tell, it's draining noticeably faster, right? Just as a demonstration, we will show off the damage numbers as well here. On the low end, we're seeing anywhere from about 156,000 on the high end to just over 1.2 million. So this build and the original build do really identical damage. The original here does about 10 to 20,000 more damage on its maximum crit, but I would say any day of the week I would take minus 10,000 damage on a 1.2 million crit to have over double the MP for runtime, right? So yeah, that is going to be everything for this Bunny build today. Thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully everything was super informative. We're having more build videos up here soon. I think we're going to go for a Volby build next, especially with something like Gluttony. I know many people are always looking for the next best build for Gluttony, right? So thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all next time. Peace.